is up, YouTube? This is Platinum Point, and I'm here to bring you guys yet again another Weiss Schwarz deck profile. This time it's going to be on my Nisekoi Japanese list. This is probably going to be the first. Actually, I don't know if there's any, so I'll assume first, but I'll post a correction if it isn't. Deck profile of Nisekoi, since this is a really old set. So this set is actually has an interesting history, unlike others, and that is it was actually hit very brutally on the ban list. In Japanese Weiss Schwarz, there's actually a ban list, and this deck actually got hit really hard to the point where it was actually almost very hard to function with this deck without without having to play a wall build. But now that they released practically everything off the ban list, but still having some limitations on it, this deck is primed for showcasing. So this is a red, yellow, blue build of Nisekoi, and it's probably one of my favorite decks. It's actually my first competitive Japanese deck that I had when I first got into Weiss. So without further ado, let's get on to the deck profile, starting with the zeros. I play 4 copies of the Yukata Chitoge level 0, which has the ability, if you have one or less other characters on board, this gains plus 15. So this is an oversize, and since most things can't get over 3-5 in Weiss right now, it's actually really nice, and it has the ability, with the one or less restriction, of hand on core, which is really nice. So it's a continuous body that you can use to put pressure on lanes. So next we play 4 copies of the Chitoge Reverser, which is actually a very old-fashioned runner at the same time, which has the ability, when during your opponent's attack step, it runs to the center slot of the front stage. So this card is actually a semi-decent runner, but because it has that restriction of only running to center, you only play it as a 3-of, but it's a good reverser nonetheless. Next, I play 3 copies of the Marika Brainstorm. In my previous build, I played 4. In my earlier builds, that is, but that was due to the fact that we had a ban list, so we had to have more blue in the deck, since most of the blue cards were either unplayable or just downright not that good utility-wise at the 0 step. But I play this as a 3-of. It's your tap 2. It's a pay 1 tap 2 search Brainstorm, and it gives the ability on attack give a character plus 1k, which is really nice. Next, we play 3 copies of this Global 5k Raku, which has the ability discard a card to salvage any of the 1/1 Pendant of Promises from your waiting room to your hand. So in this build, I play 3 yellow, 1 red, but there's also blue and a green pendant, since this deck has all 4 colors. But you only play these 2 because these are the only good ones, utility-wise, to play. This one searches, while this one is a tap 2, salvage 2, and discard 1, which is hand fixing and salvaging at the most craziest amount. And they both go into memory, which is really good because it helps with all your other memory-related effects. This Raku was originally on the ban list as a pick 1 between this and the pendants and another card, which is the deck refresh. So it's glad that this is back off the list, and we could actually play this at 3. Just for more consistency in this deck, I also play 2 copies of the Bath Time Chitoge Marika and Onodera backliner, which is also a salvager for these pendants, but instead of a discard a card, it's a pay 1 salvage, which is still nice because having the ability to just get your pendants onto from from the waiting room to your hand is always nice. And then lastly, we play one copy of the Discard Climax Character Salvage Marika, which also has the ability you can check the top card of your deck and determine whether you want to keep it or mill it, which is really nice. It's information. And now for the one step. Besides the 4 pendants, I play 4 copies of the Marika 1-0 Climax combo. This is actually a rather weak Climax combo because of it being 5k and only 6k when Climax is played. But it's the only plussing Climax combo this deck has at the one step, which is on Reverse Salvage. This is a Salvage Climax combo, which is really nice. Sorry for the background noise if you hear that. Next, we play 2 copies of the Date Chitoge, which is a 1045, but when you have a Pendant of Promise and Memory, it gains 1500, so it becomes a 6k lane. 6k lane and a... Is it a 6k lane? Oh no, it gains 2000, not 1500, so it's a 6-5 lane with pendants, and it becomes a 7k with the Raku, the global 500 Raku, which is really nice, and it allows you to just wall up your boards nicely, or even break boards. Lastly, for the ones, I play 2 copies of the Chitoge, I guess you could say Pseudo Rize. When it comes into play, you can check the top 2 cards of your deck, and then add one of them and send the rest to the waiting room and discard a card. But it also has the ability, when this attacks, if you have a level 2 or higher character, you can give it plus 2k, which is really nice. So, scratch that, it's 1k, my bad. This has been my first time reading this after a long time. This deck was actually in the woodworks for a while until the Banlist came out, and I just tweaked the lists. So I'm a little rusty with reading the effects. Next, we play 2 copies of the 2-1 Chitoge from the trial deck. There's also a, I think, uncommon version, but I went with the trial deck art because it looks nicer. And it climax combos with the Wind Trigger. And what it does is, on attack, you may pay 2, select... How many characters? Oh, it's just 1. Select 1 character from your opponent's side and bounce it. So this allows you to help break walls and even bodyguard abilities, because on attack you can just bounce the bodyguard and swing for 2, which is really nice. And if you do knock out that bodyguard, your other lanes can swing freely, which is actually kind of broken when you think about it, because it allows you to break very oppressive walls and just push in for some really nice damage, and also help you finish the game, which is also nice. Next, I play 1 copy of the Anti-Change Backup. There's another one, which is a 1-0, but it's a pay 3 one. This one is a pay 2 sack counter. So what it does is you pay, when you already pay 1 for the backup, when you use this as a backup, you pay an additional 2 and sack a character, and you send your opponent's character whose level is 3, whose level is higher than their current level, to the waiting room. So this allows you to set up really good defensive plays at the same time, because you can avoid reverses, but it does have a high cost, which is why it's only a 1-of. Then I play 1 copy of the Free Fresh Onodera. I know I have another copy on the side, but because we're kind of tight on space, this is only a 1-of right now. And it also has the tap 2, give a character 2k, which is really nice. And then lastly, we play the 2k level 3 backup, which has the ability, when you play an active ability, which is mainly your Brainstorm in most cases, you give one character an additional 500, which is okay, because it makes your lanes 12 fives or even 13 lanes when on the upswing, which is really fine. Now for the level 3, I was wrong. I was wrong when I said I only had one card with act ability, but this Chitoge actually does have an act ability. But first of all, let's explain the first effect, which is an on-play heal. But it also has the second ability, which is an act. Pay 1, tap 2 characters, give this character plus 2k, and on reverse top kick, which is actually not bad because it helps you set up your burn 1s, which this deck does well at. Next, we play 3 copies of the Onodera early play. These are my SPs. You might notice most of this deck is max rarity, with the exception of a few cards. So what this does is it has the early play condition. If 2 or more of your pendants are in memory, this gets -1 level, which is nice. And it also has the on-play ability, search your deck for a key character and add it to your hand. And this deck is completely key trait, so this allows you to dig. But it also allows you to search for sweets, if I'm correct. Oh no, just key trait, which is still not bad because Onodera is both key and sweet. So this can also be played in a standalone Onodera build, which is a blue-green build thanks to the extra booster. It also has the continuous ability. If you have 2 or more key characters, this gains 1k. So this is a 10-5 lane easily. And then lastly, we play 2 copies of the Chitoge 3-2 from the main set, which is basically uses as a pseudo Musashi. So when damaged by this is cancel your burn 1, which is really nice. Rather strong actually in my opinion. And then lastly, we play 2 copies of the 3-2 Mariko, which was the most busted card in the set because what it does is it also has the memory requirement. If you have 2 or more key traits in your Pendants of Promise in memory, this gains the following effect: on attack, burn 1. So that's already nice. What makes it broken is that when it reverses an opponent's character, you may pay 2, discard 3, restand this card. So it's a non-climax finisher that guarantees precision damage because the burn 1 is continuous. So even on the second swing, you get another burn 1, which is insane. Originally, when this set came out, this was at 4, and I've seen lists play 3 to 4 of this. They hit this card to 1. Now it's back at 2, which is sad, but still busted. I hope that they bring this back up to 4, but that's kind of wishful thinking, because this card is actually crazy, and especially in this current meta. The fact that the only set in JP that can that can guarantee block this is either is Kimono Friends and GGO, but you have to get lucky with GGO for that one. But Kimono is the only guarantee anti-burn 1 in the game at the moment, and that's in JP. That's why they had to nerf this deck in English, because they knew they had no way of dealing with this card. And in English, this card actually sucks. So that's the scary part about this deck. Overall, I like Nisekoi as a set. This is my favorite deck. I hope to remax rarity it because I had to sell some pieces off for to cover some things. But I like this deck. I even have the matching anniversary sleeve. These were a pain in the ass to get, especially as we got later in the years, because the supply set that this came in is actually hard to find. And I have both the mat and the sleeves for it. Hopefully, I hope you guys enjoy this deck profile. The next one I'll be doing is an update on my Sal deck. And then after that, I will most likely do an AOT deck profile, because I do have English AOT in my storage, and it's one of the most powerful decks in English. So I do want to showcase that list, but it's still kind of in the woodworks because I'm still missing a few pieces. Nothing expensive, just the minor pieces. So once again, this is Platinum Point. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Stay on point, guys. Peace out.